Dealing with toxic people is an unavoidable part of life. They can appear as a coworker who thrives on drama, a family member who's overly critical, or even a friend whose negativity feels like an emotional drain. These encounters often leave us feeling frustrated, drained, or even hurt. But how can we navigate these situations without losing our composure or peace of mind? Today, let's explore this deeply, drawing from psychology, philosophy, and timeless wisdom to understand not just how to deal with toxic people, but how to rise above their influence and maintain inner equilibrium. To begin, let's reflect on a famous story about the Buddha. One day, a man approached him, hurling insults and verbal attacks. Yet the Buddha remained calm, smiling gently, unshaken by the man's words. After the man had exhausted himself, the Buddha posed a question. When someone brings you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong? The man answered, to the one who brought it. The Buddha nodded and said, likewise, I do not accept your anger. It remains with you. This story captures a profound truth. We have the power to refuse the negativity others try to impose on us. It's not always easy, but it is liberating. From a psychological perspective, the Buddha's response illustrates emotional resilience and self-regulation. Toxic people often act out because of their unresolved emotions, insecurities, or need for control. They may project their frustrations onto others, seeking to elicit a reaction, but by refusing to engage emotionally, we deny them that power. This doesn't mean suppressing our feelings, but rather practicing mindfulness, observing our emotions without letting them dictate our actions. When faced with toxicity, one key is to understand that the behavior often has more to do with the other person than with us. People who lash out are often battling their own internal struggles. For example, a person who constantly criticizes others might be projecting their own feelings of inadequacy. By recognizing this, we can cultivate compassion, not necessarily to excuse their behavior, but to prevent ourselves from internalizing their negativity. However, compassion does not mean enduring harmful behavior without boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining mental health and well-being. A toxic individual might test your limits, using manipulation or guilt to keep you engaged in their patterns. Here, psychology advises us to set clear, firm boundaries without guilt. For instance, if someone constantly interrupts your peace with complaints or drama, it's okay to politely but firmly limit your interactions. You might say, I understand you're upset, but I need some time to focus on my own well-being right now. It's not about being unkind. It's about protecting your emotional space. Philosophy also offers wisdom in dealing with such people. The Stoics, for example, emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what isn't. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When dealing with a toxic person, we cannot control their behavior, but we can control our response. We can choose to respond with calm, clarity, and strength rather than being drawn into their chaos. This approach ties into the concept of emotional intelligence, a cornerstone of psychological well-being. Emotional intelligence involves recognizing and understanding emotions, both our own and others, and using this awareness to guide our behavior. When dealing with a toxic individual, emotional intelligence helps us remain composed, empathetic, and strategic. Instead of reacting impulsively to their provocations, we pause, assess the situation, and respond in a way that aligns with our values. There's also value in practicing detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but learning not to take things personally. Toxic people often thrive on eliciting emotional reactions. By staying detached, we deny them that satisfaction. Instead of absorbing their negativity, we let it pass through us like wind through an open window. At the same time, self-care becomes crucial. Encounters with toxic individuals can be draining, even if we handle them skillfully. Engaging in activities that replenish our energy, whether it's meditation, exercise, journaling, or spending time with supportive friends, helps us recover and maintain balance. Self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary to show up as our best selves in all areas of life. When dealing with toxic people, it's also important to seek perspective. Sometimes we're too close to the situation to see it clearly. Talking to a trusted friend, mentor, or therapist can provide valuable insights and help us navigate the complexity of these relationships. Psychology emphasizes the power of social support in building resilience. Sharing our experiences not only lightens the emotional load, but also reminds us that we're not alone in facing challenges. Let's return to the Buddha's story for a moment. Notice how his response didn't involve retaliation or self-defense. Instead, he used wisdom and kindness to neutralize the situation. This aligns with a psychological concept called response flexibility, which refers to our ability to pause and choose our response rather than reacting automatically. Cultivating this skill can transform how we handle not just toxic individuals, but all challenging situations. Of course, there are times when disengaging is the healthiest choice. If a relationship is persistently harmful and shows no signs of improvement, walking away might be the most compassionate act for both parties. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Protecting our mental and emotional health allows us to contribute positively to other areas of our lives. So the next time you encounter a toxic person, remember, they are not your enemy, they are your teacher. Every interaction is an opportunity to practice patience, assertiveness, and self-awareness. And as you navigate these challenges, keep this quote from Viktor Frankl in mind: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Thank you for joining me today on Psychology Life Hacks. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little wisdom in dealing with toxic people. See you next time, and remember, you have the power to turn negativity into growth. Stay empowered.